stronghold, the fortress of... My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little fruit. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed doors, do not fear, for the journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop... Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead? Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos... Quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it!
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place...
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, still, even if there'd be no more cake tomorrow, that wouldn't keep me from having some today. No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Siege?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to the surface to teach us things about humans. She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you could... I've got something else to do, so I'll be...
And there she goes! All right, let's dig in. Paimon... It's more delicious than last time! Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here. Oh, we're near the Steambird office. Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon!
Ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to... It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even said...
Really?
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
A friend of ours met you a while back.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. Really good one, too. So she mentioned me?
She said that you're a
Nice. In which case, can this daredevil journalist dare to...
Huh? So you're...
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper and ask you to talk about the things...
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few...
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time then?
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the... Ooh, so much to get done.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If... just...
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but if you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. In truth, it might be better just to behave like normal rather than worry over such an end. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. Just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic. But I do love my job. But anyway,
That's so nice. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty soothing... Paimon's been thinking... If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat, that would be... No, Paimon should ask if... We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't... You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that... Feels like you'll grow mold if you stay here long enough. But it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not only damp there, but
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermont?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. I heard that afterward you went to the Fortress of Meropide. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to pass along a message from him. Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident...
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that serious. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting during an intermission, some other audience members suddenly started harassing her, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the prophecy crisis. And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow and protest against the Hydro Archon.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods, as is customary. But the moment people feel threatened, God...
So what happened after that?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, she claimed that she'd gotten tired of this and left in a hurry. The Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when things had stabilized did we realize that she had gone missing.
So, you...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her. but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were to fall into good. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to tell you about the situation, but...
Don't worry, this is more than enough to go.
Is that so? Well,
Sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, and as we also know, she may be loud. When Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and it would be hard for her to ignore being accused, but Paimon thinks Farina's probably taken the opportunity to Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but Paimon can do the analysis to back it up, too. Cool, huh? In that case, there's none This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Farina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. That's Farina, right over there.
what was meant to happen? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, but what can I even do? Who's that?
Don't worry, Farina. Farina.
What? They even... Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Marche Chaussee Phantom are freaking out.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after!
Farina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just... that's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Farina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up with him! This should be the place, right? Hey, Farina! There's a good hiding spot over here! Quick,
What? What is this?
hurry, they're almost...
Fine. I suppose haste is... I merely gave in to the sheer...
Yep, that's a good...
What's happening? The ground's shaking.
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's...
Yeah, but the people of Poisson...
It's true. I've been investigating. I once had informants all over Tevat. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. anything to keep the coastline from advancing. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth, we cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do. Give up. I do love the sound of that phrase. It would indeed. I've thought about giving up so many times. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? But just now, it all became clear. As long as the final moment. Don't worry. Well, that's enough for now. Don't take any of what I just.
Come on!
Share. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to Tevat, and if Tevat is in its entirety, if that's the case...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado...
So this. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself.
May I interpret these words as your In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow.
Lady Farina.
It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding. To be clear,
Looking for excuses?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my acceptance of the trial. No duel shall be necessary. I will admit that I've been running away for a long time. I'm sorry, everyone. I was unable to protect the people of Poisson. You are... But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine. The trial of the Hydro Archon, Fosalor, will now begin!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Like, come on! Didn't she just get forced to stand trial for her crimes? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is taking this seriously this time, right?
All right, then. Who will be my opponent in this trial?
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Also, please allow me to ask, As a final question before the trial, just how much work did you do to force...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president...
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular... The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the... Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, when something like that occurred, you would likely flee the scene and head to Poisson by yourself. So, we arranged for a second group to lie in wait.
So, you mean...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may personally participate in the greatest magic performance in all of Fontainian history.
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Araneas. Its cargo, of course, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance. Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora. We had to select a location.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can get you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and also that as...
Yes, that is...
Well, Clorand, As for you, traveler, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we... Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very...
Madam Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received permission to share with you during the trial. According to her...
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she... Oh, let Paimon see. Wait, then that means this document is a perfect timeline of everything. So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use something from our journey as evidence for an argument. Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the history books, all right. I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this as a happy coincidence. This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. Even the Hydro Archon can't figure it out. A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must mean something. The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be a source of professional regret, I think. According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both Child and that whale should have been in the primordial sea at that time. I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, Nervy. Just fast forward to the part, of course. It is only now.
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as—
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina. Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true.
Yeah. Even though Lady Farina can be rather eccentric.
Yeah, I've never questioned her
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever. See? Even the Oratrice has to. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you, as the God of Justice, that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute for
Well, I tried to. And if I was not the Archon, then.
First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave?
A curse. I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon... But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a
Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina. Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult.
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if, besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession, for centuries, manifestations of my authority. One need only to turn their eyes towards the oratory.
You tried to reference the Oratrice. But weren't you as confused as all the rest of us when the Oratrice declared Child to be guilty without any proof? Otherwise, you should have come up with a good
Didn't I make myself clear at the time?
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your... While the court is in session, you will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges.
I never thought you'd use that.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated the rules of the court. Rules that all should respect and follow.
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made...
The real Hydro Archon. Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally, and it has been operating independently ever since it was first created. You can't argue.
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over...
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive their thus did I get...
Isn't that...
Yeah.
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone! Please, I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? Please?
If what the prosecutor said is true, she really...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And all of our...
Enough! That's enough! Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you
Wow, she came up with...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. I swear this really will be the last now. I've brought some seawater from Poisson, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably Fontainian like all the rest of us.
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution, as it falls outside the realm of
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is...
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word.
What's going on?
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina.
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me! Will you believe me now?
Miss Siegeween, if you're present, Miss...
Siege?
Don't be nervous.
Please announce the result.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which...
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved!
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did. However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough. We don't want anyone else to lose.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a low-concentration sample and asked that... It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually used. Farina could have... I can't...
Listen to me, everyone! Think about it! Also... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your...
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone who's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Farina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Farina is... guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: to be punished...
That's actually one of the available sentences?
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice? What an unexpected twist.
Farina's been sentenced to death!
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Fache wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt.